As a Nestlé partner in sourcing, you work hard to ensure a continuous supply of the best raw materials. But extreme weather events don't make your job easy. Shifting global farming patterns might lead to shortages of key ingredients in one region or supply issues in another. And your job could become more challenging if we don't prepare now. Climate change is real, and as one of the world's largest agro-food companies, Nestlé is fully aware of the stakes. This is why Nestlé made the bold commitment to net zero carbon by 2050 through its climate pledge. Achieving net zero carbon in only 30 years is ambitious, but it's possible, and you can play a key role. Have you thought about how responsibly your farmers grow their crops and suppliers source their raw materials? Are the farmers restoring land and limiting greenhouse gas emissions in the process? Do suppliers follow up with farmers' practices? Think about it. Approximately 1/3 of the world's greenhouse gas emissions are linked to the food system, with 80% of this originating from agricultural production. So, the agro-food industry is both a victim of and a contributor to climate change. The good news is that there are solutions. Let's check them out. A flexible sourcing strategy mitigates risks. Yet, with growing climate issues and Nestlé's climate pledge, this flexibility could be restrained. In fact, GHGs will be monitored and recorded throughout the value chain. In agriculture, the impacts of GHG abatement measures are often only visible after a couple of years. For instance, carbon sequestration in soils will only be measurable in nature after 4 to 5 years. This means that you might not have the answer on emissions today, but if you build lasting partnerships with your farmers and suppliers, you will know how to act tomorrow. To support you in your work, Nestlé has implemented geography-specific sustainable sourcing committees. Each committee is organized around a different sourcing pillar, namely dairy and animals, annual crops, and perennial crops. These committees are responsible for evaluating sourcing strategies to guide your decisions. The revised GHG-adjusted strategic sourcing plans will follow a half-year, annual, 5, and 10-year scopes. The priorities will be based on volumes of raw materials and ingredients needed by our brands. This means that your annual sourcing targets will include not only volume and quality, but also greenhouse gas emissions. This will require you to strike a balance between a dynamic supply of raw materials, allowing us to claim for carbon insetting in our value chains. As we create joint strategies, we enable mid to long-term partnerships, and together, we can transform the entire value chain. This lasting transformation will make you more resilient for future challenges. With sustainability measures, supply chains will better cope with extreme weather events. And who knows? Together, we may even be able to mitigate some of the impacts of climate change. With our climate pledge, the procurement of agricultural raw materials and ingredients requires an even more strategic decision-making. It's about sourcing responsibly and living up to our promises to the planet and the people that live on it. So, join us as we speed up our journey to net zero.